All right. Very dramatic introduction. Thank you so much for that one. As we go, you can see brought to you by Real Trading. This is the aftermarket show. It's not a huge, we're brought to you by Benzinga, by the way. Thank you so much for joining here one more time today. We'll go over some of the sectors. We'll talk a little bit about PVH. I mean, they were down 22% today. An interesting name, Levi's. I want to talk about them. They're going to be reporting tomorrow after the close. Now you got two of me. And a couple things. Oh, View just got halted. Some stock View right now just halted out right now at 401. Just real quickly here, some interesting names to look at before we look at the broader markets. I mean, just what's standing out, if we can get rid of my mug here quickly. Meta was, flash, back and forth. Meta right there, up 1.12%, so that's kind of interesting. We actually made good money on the short before realizing that it closed the day up at 498. Let's discuss some Meta today. Microsoft and Google both heading back down to the downside, but NVDA leading the way for all the big names, down 0.92. But the interesting name right there in this section is AMD. AMD down 2.64%. So not a great day for that name. We'll check the charts out over there. Now, back in the retail side of things, Walmart down 1.43%. That's kind of a move that, you know, again, breaking back down below that $60 mark. Let's have a look at a key level there for Walmart. A name that I think we could buy on dips, Costco as well. As interest rates come, we had Frank on. It's looking like 3 might be the most, maybe the most. Maybe we get 2, maybe we get 1, maybe we get none on that. So if rates remain high, we could see potentially the retail trade starting to come apart a little bit. We had a monster move in A&F, big moves in Costco this year as well, potentially pulling back Home Depot again, down another 1.12%. XOM, a 1.5% to the upside. That's a nice one. And then Eli Lilly sticking out as well. But look at Disney. Let's go back over quickly. This is XLE. How good does XLE look? We'll look at the daily chart for that one as we'll have a quick look. Breaking out. Let's go. XLE, man. Take that one to the bank right now. This is a big stock for me, man. I didn't buy any individual energy names over the last couple of years. I've really been diversifying, or not diversifying, I guess, going into a ETF so that you get multiple holdings, thus diversifying your energy exposure for individual names. So I chose XLE, the services. I like that, and there it goes. If you're looking for more of a pure play on oil, then you would look right over here. Hold on, I got to set this screen up over there. I know he's not there yet. Right there, $80 for USO, looking to take out some of those levels on crude. TAN, again, as we talk more about interest rates, right? As we get more and more sensitive here for TAN, you're going to see some levels here. And look what we have right now. What's up now, Michael Noss? Look at this, little bit sloping down action. So we're drawing now. Thanks, Michael. He showed me this little pen widget. That's right, Ramin? Widget? Get some widgets. I'm drawing tools. See, I have this little pen tool. And infographic, that's what it is. But anyways, Will Tan, let's use this. You know what, maybe you guys could see this color better. I mean, you could be swooping down here on these bottoms. So we kind of like these frowny faces right there. You like this or blue? Let me see. Should I find out what the chat thinks? All right, Ramin just said blue, so we're going to go with blue. But anyways, TAN down 3.73%. Again, a very rate sensitive spot. An interesting name for me though is going to be, how do I turn this thing off? I got to go hide. Yeah, there we go. Would be JP Morgan. We've talked about this name up at $200. This is something that we could look at, right? As rates become an issue, I don't know, the banks have done really good in this 500-point rate hike straight to the upside as JP Morgan's at all-time highs, but are we potentially getting a little top heavy? And as you can see down here, you see the divergence here in the RSI. So once again, let's have a quick look right here. Down, right? Starting to head to the downside for the RSI. So as relative strength goes the other way, you could see up here, maybe we start to head back down to the downside. So watch out for potentially banks giving some of that up. So that's what that looks like right there for JP Morgan. I mean, what else has been pretty interesting here today? Shout out to everybody that's joining right now. We are carried over 2,600 of you. Thank you so much. We don't have too many earnings to report. I do have the Benzinga Pro news desk here. Oh yeah, Dave & Buster's. Do we still have Dave & Buster's here? We used to have one up at the Coliseum up there in Woodbridge. Yeah, okay, so that's still there. So shout out to Dave & Buster's. I really like Dave & Buster's, and shout out to everybody that's right here right now. Stay in your grind, everybody. That was a tweet that I put out there recently, and it was about that apples. There it is right here. Oh, there's the Alpha Trends. Did I retweet this? No, I don't think I retweeted this. Let's retweet it right now. Thanks for mean. Do everything around here? Do I have to do everything around here or basically nothing except for host? I think it's the latter, right? So there it is. Brian Shannon coming through. That's going to be pretty cool, so thanks for that. What I wanted to look at quickly was this Apple trade, and why I want to talk about this is because we are going to have Brian on, and we're going to take things a little slow. This Apple trade, I just said stay in your grind here. So what I mean by that is like, regardless of sort of what you're seeing here, we had noted on the sticky note that we wanted the Apple short today. As long as we stay under 170, just play some of these bumps and take advantage of these moves. So we actually put Apple on the top list there for trading. Oh, you guys want to do something that traders stay late for? This is something that I'm going to do for you. Let's try to do it pretty much every day because, again, let's put it, I'm going to do something special for you. Let me see 5 people put the hashtag traders stay late right here in the chat, and I'll do something for everybody coming up, give you a little inside look at real trading, okay? So if you put that in there, I need 5 people to put traders stay late. Let's go get that, and I'll show you something. All right, so TLT today, we see a nice little downside push in this name as well, breaking below that 92. Let's see if we can hold that right there, 92 for a bottom side for that. Let me just check out what's happening here. Okay, traders stay late, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many did I say? 50, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, damn. Breaking news. You guys just ran that level. So let's go and look at something. Okay, if you are here with Real Trading, if you're here at Real Trading, you get to see the top traders. But this information is really supposed to be, I don't know if I'm going to get compliance anywhere around here. It's supposed to be for real traders, but let's go have a look. So these are going to be the top 10 traders. It's really the top 8 traders, and then the last 2 are just us highlighting some markets. Let's go find out who made the most money. So you go in here. This is an internal memo area. So we'll go in here. This is called, for all of you people like me that are Gen X. Am I Gen X or Gen Z? I can't remember. Definitely not Boomer, though. You want me to look this up, what the official, I'm born in 1979. Look it up then. I'm not trying to argue with anybody here. Okay, yesterday's top 10 traders. Yesterday, here at Real, somebody in chat tell me what that is. 1979, what generation that is. I'm just going to ask Perplexity or something. Yeah, exactly. Generation the best. All right, 16.5 right there. Number 1 trader in the NASDAQ yesterday. 6.7 for Amex. 6.7 again. New York NASDAQ, Amex. So people trading the Amex are probably either trading GLD as an Amex name. That's pretty popular. We have the SPY, which is pretty popular. GDX can be pretty popular as well over there. Obviously, ETF-based names. I mean, you guys can look them up. Look at the higher volume names if you're trying to figure that stuff out. I don't know why there's missing information right there. Probably NYSE. Who knows? Maybe crypto. Amex, NASDAQ, Amex again. And then someone yesterday made $700 on the pink sheets right there. So a little bit of a look right there for compare your profits from Real Trading. Okay, that's that. All right, let's have a quick look. We did talk about Dave & Buster's there, but then we didn't go over anything. So here's Dave & Buster's, a nice little move down into $58. Looks like it's down 8+% right now. Let's call up Benzinga and find out why. So I thought I saw it right here. Here it is. So all right, so the stock with a nice downside move here, down 4%, down 4% during the day, down another 5% here in the after hours with a conference call scheduled for 5 o'clock. So we'll see what they're going to say right there. Let's close that and then just see what the story is here about the stock. So there it is right there, play. Q4 adjusted EPS 103. So they actually miss on their quarter. That's not good. And they miss on their sales. So they're going to miss on the top and on the bottom. All right, 7%. So that's a miss too compared to 8% last year, same quarter. What I'm looking for here is, do they have anything out? Dave & Buster trading lower after the company reported worse than expected results. Okay, so I don't see anything on the guide. So we'll see for a potentially bigger move coming out here on play at the end of the day. We saw PVH miss today. And again, a pretty bad move down to the downside. The reason why, for me, this is interesting, not because of PVH. Again, they guided. We actually did a channel check. I thought Ramino was going to tell me bad for Hilfiger and CK. I thought those brands weren't super hot, and it looks like that's going to be the case there as they guide lower. They had a good sales number. They beat on the top and bottom, but the poor guide sending PVH to the downside, and again, bouncing, trying to get to that 200 period moving average. I mean, we could talk to Brian about this. But if you let's put an anchored VWAP here, pretty much at this bottom. Let's put it to that bottom of October and see where that anchored VWAP takes us to. Are you kidding me? This anchor VWAP hits again? Right there. So that anchor VWAP right now down at 112. So PVH spending its time underneath right now. The interesting thing about this name is not about PVH at all. I'm looking at this, and did I write it on the board there? Yeah, in brackets. Levi's comes tomorrow night. Okay, so again, clothing, apparel, I don't want to call it a similar name, but again, names that we thought were pretty much printing over in Europe. We know that we had a story about jeans kind of sort of trending over there in Europe, and Levi's really starting to sell back over there. So you can see here, Levi with the report coming tomorrow on this post-market April 3rd. Look at this run up for Levi's right here. So if we drop an actual, you know what? Because Brian's coming on, let's do this again. We'll drop an anchor right here from this October bottom. And I'm going to ask Brian if this is the right thing to do here. I don't know. But right there, you're seeing, you know what? The best part about an anchor VWAP is you can lay it wherever you want. So right there, down to $16. I don't know if we're going to get there, but Levi Strauss, just a huge name right now to the upside. And again, watching out what happened with PVH, we could get a pullback for Levi's. The important thing about what to talk about today, options volume up over close to 1,400%. I have to say a happy anniversary to my wife. Thank you so much for doing that 13 years ago. So happy anniversary. We're coming home. We're going out for dinner. My eldest is going to watch the kids. So that's going to be a fun night out on the town. Probably be home by 8 o'clock. Nah, probably a little later than that. We didn't get much sleep last night. But okay, so that's that. Yeah, there we go. All right, so here's what D-Loaf is saying. You got to put more anchors on my stuff. It's pretty goated. Totally goated, dude. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think, honestly, Mr. D-Loaf, what's the story with that name, by the way? D-Loaf. Maybe put that in the chat there. Yeah, and you know what? Apple Fritter. That's a great name. Wow, Apple Fritter. Shout out to Apple Fritter right there. That's a great name. AAPL Fritter. Are you kidding me? That's fantastic. I haven't, first time, long time. Yeah, you are right. Nike, downside, right? Setting the stage there with the big miss. Boom. Lululemon, the same sort of a thing. We talked about Adidas having their first negative, I think it was quarter in something like 20 years. Obviously, a lot of people, thank you, Cecilia Fabian, a lot of people sort of pointed to their disruption by Kanye and so on and so forth, but forget about that. We've seen a lot of these retailers starting to head to the downside, and we actually talked a little bit about Walmart today as well. I mean, look at this Walmart level coming through here. We talked about this little top forming on Walmart. So there's a little level there. We topped out for sure. Are we basing out? We talked about breaking through that 60. Now that we've broken out 60 on Walmart, let's go ahead and see here. Anchored VWAP on this bottom for Walmart. Where may we stop? Walmart looking 55. I mean, that sort of coincides as well with the 200 period moving average if we anchor it to that bottom right there. So a little bit of a level there for, again, maybe we could go to this high as well, but a nice level for Walmart. I still think coming back in. And then a key level for me would also be a name, Costco, coming in the retail side of things. Look at this name starting to go lower as well. Wow. Okay, Costco, I could see potentially a pullback here as rates come in question, retail starts to come down, and again, but you know what? Credit card spending still at or near all-time highs in the U.S. with credit card expenditures starting to go offside a little bit there. All right, I spoke with Brian earlier, asked me if there's anything in specific we wanted to focus on. It looks like we'll just take a couple names, so that's going to be exciting. So let's do that. There's not too much. Oh, there's D-Loaf, just because my name is David. Okay, good one, David Lofreda. What's up, David? Thank you for sharing right there. So there it is right there. And anything else right there for the anchors? Brian said you got to put the anchors for swing lows and highs where buyers and sellers took control. So perfect. There we go. Everyone paying attention, man. Brian will be really happy. I know he's listening right now and again. Hopefully a lot of you have checked him out at Alpha Trends. And without any further ado, Ramin, are we ready? Yeah. Let's bring him on. Brian, hey, Brian, how's it going, by the way?
Good. Congratulations. 13 years.
Yeah, amazing time, eh? I mean, the fact that she's still with me is really what needs to be congratulated. So we'll celebrate that tonight. And guess what? This time she can get whatever she wants on the menu. You know what I mean? But no, it's been a great experience. And are you
go to Hortons? Is that where you got Canadians
Tim
go
Hortons?
for their anniversary?
I would love to go there. You know what? We spend a lot of time at Tim Hortons because we're a hockey family. So it's like you go there, you get a nice coffee, you sit at the rink, and it is fun time. Any Tim Hortons near where you're at?
I don't think so. We got like Denny's and I don't know. What other couple Village something? I don't even go there. I don't know.
Dutch Bros.
Village Inn, I think it's called.
You have Dutch Bros there for a coffee place?
No, not yet. Not that I've seen.
I want to see a Dutch Bros myself.
I saw Kava's about to open, which I'm kind of interested to see.
Another recent IPO. I have something like if I trade the name and I can't make money there, and I kind of move off. Oh, CMG. That's a good name. Did you see that? That's going to be reverse splitting.
I like that. I like that. That stock has been so illiquid too. I mean, the 20-day average has been about 250,000 for years.
Right.
Now we'll get some liquidity and a more reasonable price. So yeah, that was a great move. I was happy to see it.
People loving Waffle House there on the chat. I mean, you know, if there was one around here, I'd definitely go to a Waffle House. But yeah, CMG excited about that one. We also had the recent Walmart split. I see you have Meta on your screen there today. Now, what I did with Meta earlier, I've been shorting this name actually against 500. I actually just used kind of psychological levels. I wrote down today we wanted to stay short of Apple under 170. And today the same thing with Meta. But you know what? I don't know if you can help me out, Brian, because we actually were super patient. We had this short. It ran up into 493. Look at that, man. 3 shorts. Bang, bang, bang against that pre-market level. Fell back in. We covered at like 489. So that's about $4 on the maximum. Then it came back in. And this is how I trade. Look at this. Try to hold the winners for $3 or $4. But when you're wrong, you get out for 30, 40 cents and you walk away. And it's a good thing we did because Meta started going to the upside. You have anything on this name?
Well, the only thing I was actually just looking at it. I wasn't looking to discuss it, but I was noticing the anchored volume weighted average price from that last gap higher. We can put that on right there, and you can see it's been holding that really well. So if we break below that and hold below that level, Shawn, then I think you've got a short that could have some legs and perhaps go close that gap. Everyone always looks for these gaps to get filled, but as we know, sometimes it takes years for a gap to get filled. Look back at the SPY and look at the unfilled gaps down here from November, and people were shorting, hoping those gaps will get filled, but it's not the way it always works.
Are we finally? No. Yeah, they always say every gap gets filled, but I'm pretty sure that you and I know that that's not completely true.
If they do, it can take years, right?
Right. I guess time frame.
Statistically, maybe you could argue that in a textbook, but from a trading standpoint, it's nonsense.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's about time frame, right? So I think we should clarify that as well. Are we finally rolling over on this market? I mean, you and I have talked about this for a minute. Every time you seem to come on here, we talk about the resilience of the market. I'm just seeing gold starting to break out, obviously. The dollar continues to go higher. Energy, oil still continue to go higher. That's not been a recipe for a higher S&P. The market has not continued to go with all of these other asset classes. Something's got to break. I don't know what you're seeing, but the NASDAQ here has been like 15 of 17 weeks straight up. What can you tell me? I mean, on my screen here, Brian, we're hovering. We keep holding this 50-period moving average. Looks like we may start to turn over a little bit. Anything you're looking at with the SPY or the Qs?
Yeah, let's take a look at the SPY, actually. We held the 20-day moving average once again. Since we got back above it here in early January, it's really been a place where the buyers have emerged each and every time. And you can't ignore that. Right. But you also cannot ignore what we see on this 30-minute time frame, which is that this market, has broken below some support in here, this little level. We've got a declining 5-day moving average. And when I look at it like this, Shawn, I kind of think that, everyone's always calling double tops. And a lot of times these double tops really aren't double tops. It's just a place where the market is traded previously. But when you have a double top, you have point A right here, at this point, and then point B and point C. And then you draw a trend line. When that trend line is broken, that's when you have your confirmation that it's getting ready to break.
Right.
As it breaks this low right here, what we call point B, then that becomes the point where you can call it a double top, and you would expect a move the height of that double top pattern. So we can just do it real quick and grab that and say that becomes our price target down here at about 513, 13 and a half. So today we broke down. Now, if we rally up a little bit, I'm thinking that tomorrow, if we do something like this, we're going to end up coming down fairly quickly to that level. So I'm leaning a little bit bearish near term because of that declining 5-day moving average, but I'm not going to get too aggressive with this much bigger bullish picture. And, the other asset classes, like you said, are kind of, gold and silver is starting to look really good again.
Yeah, I saw silver.
Bitcoin and Ethereum breaking down. Silver, real nice move. I mean, this is a beautiful breakout.
We're actually right there right now. We're right there right now. Yeah.
Yeah, from that pullback to the 20-day moving average. And if you look at the weekly time frame, this guy's got some room to run.
Wow, everything seems to be breaking out. Right, yeah. So this actually looks a little bit like the IWM. I kind of feel like the market might be gold here, and then silver is kind of like just trying to play catch up. Yeah, that is looking real nice, man. We've seen some big moves up in copper. We talked about the cocoa futures, 10 grand or something. All these things are going absolutely insane. Again, coming through. People absolutely love that. That was genius there, that $6 top to bottom, and then what that next move is. So thank you for that little bit of a tip there. Yeah, gold also. I mean, you just mentioned that the weekly chart. Come over to my screen right here. Look at this. I mean, this is really starting to go. Potentially, I mean, maybe if I put on a daily chart, Brian, this will give us some ideas. But if someone's long gold right now because maybe they thought it would be a hedge against potentially the market, I don't know. They're winning because this is no longer a hedge. This is a great move up for gold. It has an average annual return from 1920 of 0.9%, 0.9. So it actually returns less than like inflation. You lose money, if you're sitting in this. But right now, are we sort of take profit here, or is there maybe a level of a pullback, maybe breaking back down below 200 or something here on GLD? If you were long, what kind of advice maybe for a safety net for longs here on the Spider Gold Trust?
Yeah, I think you look at this daily chart and, we're, as you said on that weekly chart, we're breaking to all-time highs. That's not the time to sell. When it's finally working for you after a 0.9% after 50 years.
Yeah.
Right? These are the times you want to, press your bets. Not here, of course, because it's just had this run. We could do one little measured move objective and say this is 184 up to 203. So what's that? Let's just call it 20 points. And from this pullback point here of 198 gives us a price objective of about 218 or so. And I would say, maybe you start tightening your stops up there. But for right now, this is the most recent relevant higher low. This little pullback from a week and a half ago. I think your stop goes under there for now, and you just continue to manage it in terms of if it continues to make higher highs and higher lows, you raise your stop up underneath those higher lows that are relevant to your time frame. And for a longer term investor, hopefully it looks something like that.
Wild. I mean, I feel like, if you're a long-term investor, you're really liking this move because you have never seen it before. Like we just mentioned, great move up there for gold. We just had some breaking news. You want to do something live?
Yeah.
All right, check out, I'm sure you have some post-market data, but Intel. So Intel, INTC there, Brian, with a nice move down here. And what I'm seeing from Benzinga here on Intel, it's the only story that I can see. David Zinser here, Chief Financial Officer for Intel, talking about ambition of 60% non-GAAP gross margins and 40% operating margins in 2030. So I'm wondering if the market does, I mean, we don't really care how the market, all we care about is price action. So I'm not going to sit here and say that that's a good thing. It definitely looks like a bad thing as Intel's starting to come down a little bit. As I look at it daily for this, it's had a nice base here. We talked about this. I think this is the third most underperforming name, Brian, in the Dow, it's going to go Boeing, it's going to go UNH, and then it's going to come Intel year to date. So this name, again, getting hit downside a little bit right now for Intel. Would there be any sort of dip buy levels here potentially? Because the chips still remain relatively solid, I feel like.
The chips are solid. I'm looking at the SMH. It's down, what, about 85 cents after hours or so. So not really too bad. And I guess it's because this isn't, considered a leader. If NVIDIA was getting hit, then the SMH would be,
Right.
a little bit more panicked. But, I think it's just, you've got a stock below declining 20 and 50-day moving average. You don't want to be a buyer of it. It's clearly the laggard, as you mentioned. It lags the Dow. If it pulls back down into this area, maybe you start to think about it. But it's just a mess. I don't see any reason to buy an underperforming asset like that.
Yeah, are you of that belief as well, where why not just buy basically the best house on the block? Like, I could say an ugly block, but this is a fantastic block. Like, why are we worried about picking up some of these names that are clearly underperforming in a sector? I've always been, and this is kind of a Kramer thing, but buy the best of breed names. Especially if we're looking to either swing something or, I mean, we can always look at other ones, but that's kind of what I believe in. Are you of similar sort of looking at the higher end names and then maybe digging down a little bit lower after that?
I am. So I like to look at those leaders, but once in a while when the leaders get so far stretched and there's really not much left in the sector that hasn't moved,
Right.
then sometimes it pays to look at the, kind of the junk pile, because a rising boat or rising tide lifts all boats in the sectors as well as the market. So sometimes you get a little bit of action in that, but Intel's just been an underperformer for decades here. I mean, it's still below the 2000 high.
Yeah,
by
it's brutal.
a pretty good margin.
Man, did you see that move today in Tesla? That was some bad Chinese numbers came in and around 8:30 from China deliveries. I'll call it up right here for everybody. Big move down there, as we'll give you a second to try to load it up, and then I got to let you go. If you have any ideas, we can run those as well. But here's a huge move down for Tesla into 160, 162. If we go out to a daily chart, though, I don't know, man. I mean, just looking at this, little bit of a top there at 200, and then coming over here, we could see back in summer, basically a little earlier in that spring, summer of 23, we did have that bottom in and around $60. So again, I don't know, man. I'm just seeing, again, another potential top like that. So now that I figured out I got this tool to use now, so I'm drawing like you, these little tops. So what do we think about Tesla down here? For me, it doesn't look like a buy. We got to get above 200, I feel like, before I start looking at this again.
Agreed 100%. I mean, it's in a downtrend. It's guilty till proven innocent.
Right.
We've got a declining 20, 50, 200-day moving average. These aren't the types of stocks that you buy. It looks like it's probably, like you said, headed for a test of at least this low from about this time last year. A lot of times we'll see maybe a flush below that, and then you start to get a bounce. But whether that's going to stick or not is anyone's guess. But you've got most likely a lot of uneducated stops underneath this level,
Right.
thinking that, hey, if it breaks below that, then you'll get the uneducated short sellers saying that's the end of it. I'm going to short there. That's typically where you get the bounce because of that. When it breaks that obvious level.
Okay, so we'll look for a little bit of a relief rally there in Tesla. Any names that you're looking at that maybe we didn't highlight, or something that you might want to point out so we can cover maybe next week or have a quick look there? I don't know. I mean,
sure. I mean, the GLNG is a good one.
GLNG,
here's a nice looking weekly chart, and the daily is just coming off of a bounce in here. It had a little bit of strength here today.
Wow.
So I'm long some of that one. There's a little one, actually. You see AMC just continuing to hit new all-time lows. And I thought it was interesting that, so here's a weekly chart of AMC, just garbage.
Oh, my God.
NCMI, which is National, what do they call it? Cinemedia.
Yeah.
Here's our daily chart. Just big volume breakout over here about a week and a half ago. It's holding the anchored volume weighted average price from that level. And this looks like a good one, maybe back above today's high with a stop underneath this pullback low. You can see that 5-day moving average coming back around. So that's a good one for tomorrow. I like the way silver acts. A couple of the little weed stocks. I don't know if these are Canadian, Shawn, but you might know a little bit more about CRLBF and CURL.
Curaleaf, yep. I think those are multi-state operators as well in the US.
Yeah, so these are, trading pretty darn tight, and if they can break these little consolidations, these might get a little bit of action here in the next
Yeah.
couple days.
Yeah, I like that. My nervous thing about those, of course, is as an investment. I mean, I know we're just talking about the next couple of days in swing trades because honestly, if you zoom back out on some of those cannabis
Oh,
names,
yeah.
oh my God, the nightmare continues. Okay, Brian, again, absolutely fantastic. Everybody can find you at Alpha Trends, and I want to thank again. Over 2,000 watching us live on YouTube. Plus, we're streaming on Twitch. We're streaming on Twitter. We're streaming everywhere, Instagram as well. So I want to thank you for joining us and just pointing out some of those levels as we see Intel continuing to go down. So thank you so much, Brian.
Can we come back to my screen real quick
Sure,
so I
let's
can
go.
give you a gold star?
Yep.
Shawn, before I saw you draw the anchor right down here in PVH.
Yep.
And I was thinking, that's it. I'm never going to get invited back. Shawn gets this.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was a perfect level. And I was like, oh my God, don't tell me the anchored VWAP works again. I'd show your book, Brian, but one of the traders on the floor has it. We're spreading the knowledge around here. Go pick it up and go find Brian at Alpha Trends. Thank you. And yeah, you're always welcome back, man. So don't even worry about that. Thank you, Brian. Have a fantastic evening.
You too, with your wife.
Thank you. Ciao. Yeah, man. I'm seeing some people here. Yeah, what's up, Peter's son and everything like that. Unfortunately, Adam, Aaron, no matter what we think here, we always get sort of, and it's a good point, Peter's son. There was, some back and forth there with the way the shares were sort of distributed and some, liquidity issues there with the shares. And unfortunately, we saw what happened with Bed Bath & Beyond. That was another one of those big meme names. And GameStop is very, very similar. But GameStop seems to be holding water a little bit. Intel, yeah, that move continues to go lower. Look, Brian's 100% right. I'm not even going to go over my review. I'm not going to go over the tweets. I'm going to go over nothing. I got more important things to do. I got to go home and see that wife of mine. But thank you to Brian so much. We're going to be back here at 8:30 tomorrow. What a fantastic day to trade again it was. I'm still feeling the short, man. That Intel news, we'll see if it carries through to tomorrow. But hey, we're still going to be short, I feel like. But check me out tomorrow. Watch my sticky note tomorrow early around 9 o'clock. It'll have some trade ideas. We nailed that today. Did we go long? I don't think we went long again today. That's back-to-back days. We focus on the shorts. Will tomorrow be another short day? You shall find out then. Traders stay late, but I'm here tomorrow early at 8:30. Ciao. Happy anniversary, Marissa. I'm coming home, baby.